once told me, IJ, I saw the signs, but I just kept ignoring them. You know, I kept saying to myself, he would change. After all, nobody's perfect. And I agree with her. Nobody's perfect. Or don't you agree with her? Yeah, we all agree with her. I haven't forgotten that conversation because the more I think about it, the more I realize that every woman have different versions of that same story. Not necessarily because they didn't see the signs, but because each time as women, we find reasons to explain away something that is very clear. Maybe you've done that before. Maybe you've noticed too, but you ignored the signs, ignored the patterns that kept repeating itself. You told yourself, nobody's perfect. Your spirit kept nudging you. Take a break, hold on. But because you've already imagined a perfect future where he completely changes and because that everything is going to be perfect. You know, when emotions are involved, clarity becomes harder. When your emotions and your feelings are involved, it becomes blurry. You begin to have blurred everything. So that's why I want us to have this conversation today. I'm not here to tell you who to go with or who not to go with. But after this conversation, you will have clarity. Hello and welcome to Talk with Aijay. Here we have real faith, real conversations, and real truths. Let's talk. Today I want us to talk about 5 relationship red flags every woman should never ignore. There are lots of red flags, but this 5, no woman should ignore it. So the first one is this: he makes you feel small instead of valued. You know, this one hurts. It hurts because it reminds me of a personal story of a very hardworking and industrious woman. Not just that she's hardworking and industrious, intelligent to the core. But you're this type of woman, but then you find yourself in a relationship where he's constantly making you feel small instead of valued. He doesn't value you. You didn't do anything. It's not your fault. You know? And this particular red flag, it doesn't show up the way people think it will. Most people are not walking around saying, your opinion doesn't matter. He may not tell you verbally that your opinion does not matter. It's often much quieter and more subtle and always dismissed than you would think. So let's say, for instance, you share something exciting and somehow the conversation comes back right to him. He expresses a concern and makes you feel like you're overreacting. You know? But then you share it with other people and they are marveled, like, you did this? Please show me. How were you able to do it? But then he tells you that, hey, you're just overreacting. It's not a big deal. You know? You try to explain how you feel, and instead of being heard, you're corrected. And little by little, you know, from those small meanings of you're reacting, it becomes something else. You start rehearsing things in your head before you say them so that you can please this person. Whether it's even what bringing certain things up, you're wondering, should I bring this discussion up? Or before you know it, you start shrinking. Yes, you begin to shrink because you're wondering whether it's even necessary to bring up anything before this person. But then, instead of leaving the relationship, you're still there because you like him, right? I don't know. I think liking someone is subjective. So at that moment, I think the first question you need to ask yourself is, why do you like him? What is it about him that you really like? What is that thing you like in someone, in a man, that would make him not to value you, that would make you shrink yourself, and you still like him? Explain to us in the comment section so that we can understand. Because your sis right here, I don't understand. So we are asking you to explain to us. You don't have to become less of yourself to fit into another person's life. One can say to you, I love you so much, but then the person doesn't value you. The person doesn't value your time. The person sometimes people don't even know the meaning of love before they start telling you I love you. So that is why someone would say to you I love you and not value you. Fails to value what matters to you, fails to value your thoughts, your opinions. And if you constantly leave conversations, or if you constantly find yourself in relationships that make you smaller, you need to look at yourself again, because relationships should make you grow and not make you disappear. That brings me to the second red flag. Yes, this one is really important. He treats you differently than he treats everyone. Yes, the way he treats you is different from the way he treats everyone else. Now you may ask, why? He loves me, so he should treat me differently, right? I'll explain. Because a lot of women miss this one. I had to change my position so that I can explain this point very well, because I need you to. I need to drag your ear, and I need you to drag your ear and hear me very well. Seriously, no jokes. Let's be serious right now. When you meet someone the first time, that's when you're in what people call, I think they call it talking stage now. They are usually on their best behavior. Yes. They are attentive. They are thoughtful. They remember the tiniest details, those things you told him yesterday. By the time you're asking him in 2 days, he remembers your favorite color, your favorite places. He remembers everything. And they make you feel special. So naturally you're thinking, wow, this person is the one. And here's something I've heard. Here's something I've learned. Don't pay attention to only how he treats you. Watch how he speaks to everyone around him. How does he speak to his driver? How does he speak to his mom? How does he speak to his elder siblings? Does he have friends? He can't be the only one. He needs to have friends. How does he speak to his friends? How generous is he to his friends? How generous is he to random people? That is who he really is. That's who he really is. That's how you know his genuine character. You go to a restaurant, how does he speak to waiters? Does he respect them, or does he speak down on them? How does he speak to people who cannot improve his life in any way? Those moments reveal his real character. So it's often said that the best way to know a person's real character is to know how they treat people who can absolutely do nothing for them. Think of it, kindness only appears when there is something to gain. So he's being kind to you initially because there's something to gain. If he's respectful when he's trying to gain something from people, but then disrespectful when he's not, that's not character. Every relationship moves beyond trying to impress each other, and real life begins. Real life begins, they start to show their true selves, and you cannot mask anything. So sis, don't just watch how he's treating you when the relationship is exciting. Watch how he treats every other person around him. How does he handle frustration? Don't say, no, he never gets frustrated. Especially if he's in Nigeria. Nigeria will frustrate you. I'm trying to think of an example. Nigeria will frustrate you. Is it when something will frustrate you in Nigeria? Seriously. But what matters is how he's able to handle frustration, how he's able to handle pressure. Is it the time that when he's under pressure, you are the punching bag, or he speaks to you with so much disrespect, like talks to you anyhow, calls you names, abuses you because he's frustrated? They can call you. Well, there are people that love it. There are people that say they abuse each other. Well, I'm not that kind of person. So it depends on what you like. I would not abuse someone. It's not my way of life. It's not my style. So I don't know why people would say they abuse each other and that's how they know they love each other. I don't know. I don't understand it. Watch how he behaves when nobody's watching. This moment tell you much more than 100 text messages of I love you. And I feel like I should just say this. Majority of these points are not just for the man alone. I keep talking about the man because I'm talking to my sisters. But you can also revert these points and it will also go for the woman. Yes. I just felt like there could be a guy watching us right now and he'll be saying, what's she talking about? Yes, this point can also work if you're looking at 5 red flags that every man should look out for in a woman. So we're square now, right? I got you, my brothers. A respectful person is generally respectful. A kind person is generally kind, no matter the situation. Yeah. An arrogant person will eventually reveal arrogance. They're not always arrogant. They can mask it sometimes. But eventually, when frustration sets in, when discomfort sets in, the arrogance will show. The question shouldn't always be how does he treat me. How he treats you, it's important. But for you to be sure that how he treats you is sustainable, like going down 6 years, 6 months, 1 year, 10 years, he would still maintain the same way he treats you. You check how he treats other people. Number 3, says he loves God, but he shows no evidence of discipleship. What does she mean? I'll explain. Let me be very careful with this one because I think this is one of the most misunderstood conversations amongst Christian women. Yes. And even in Christian relationships. Honestly, I think a lot of women especially have been confused about this point. When we hear a man talk about God, we just conclude that he's a Christian. The fact that you entered his car and he has this AC on and then he's playing Sissy Winers or Mercy Chinwo or Shumi Sola, and then you just conclude that, oh my God, he loves God so much. I'm not saying he doesn't love God. I'm not saying that. But they are not always the same thing. They're not always the same thing. A person can know a Christian language. A person can know the Bible verses. A person can have Christian culture. A person can know exactly what to say. A person can speak in tongues, but still not genuinely pursuing God. Why is this important? It's important for you to marry a man that fears God, a man that honors God, a man that values God. Because a man that honors God and values God will answer to God first before he answers to you. And that way you are protected. You know that you have the right covering. Please, let's stop putting Now, I'm not talking about perfection. I'm not asking you to marry a pastor, or I'm not asking you to get a relationship with someone who has been ordained the Bishop of the Canterbury or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is ensure that whoever that you're in a relationship with, especially if you're a Christian woman, is someone who values God, someone who respects God, someone who honors God. Queens, I have more red flags to share with you, but I don't want to make this video too long because I know that your time is valuable. So please stay tuned and watch out for part 2, because part 2 is coming, and that is where we'll continue the conversation. Drop a comment and let me know which of the red flags you have experienced, or which of the red flags you know someone has experienced. I'll see you in the next video.